Right. Hello, everyone. First of all, I don't know if you guys can hear me properly or whatever. And also, I've never introduced myself. But anyways, before we let our guests in, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Armin, and I'm also the owner of this page. I've been doing this for 2 years now, so it's quite crazy. And yeah, thank you, Mattia, for letting me know. Yes, I have my earpods in right now, so was wondering if that was gonna work or not. Anyways, it's time to let our guest in.
It work now? Uh,
Hello.
Hello. Well,
Good
it's
evening.
technically still day over here.
Well, I'm sorry. It's 6 p.m. and that's for me
Yeah,
technically
don't worry, it's
evening.
fine. And like the TV world, that's like access prime time. So
Yes, I don't have
yeah, I
earpods
can
and I
hear you
hope
fine.
you
Don't
can
worry.
hear me.
How are you?
Okay.
That's
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be talking to you. I've been following your page for more than 3 years now, I think, and it's really up to date. You get to know a lot of information about the show in other countries, and so
yeah. I
it's
think
good to
it's
keep in touch.
yeah. I've been doing this for almost 2 years now. I think next month will be 2 years since I started doing this.
Congratulations
Thank you.
as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's also quite,
Wonderful.
it's quite something that I have basically managed to, keep up with the show around the world and, just get to see what's going on.
Let me take let, let me take a wild guess. You're a fan of the
Yes.
show.
Who would have thought? Who would have
Yeah,
thought?
wild guess.
Yeah, I grew up with the show technically. I mean, I was born in Croatia. I, yeah,
Oh, ali hoćemo da to govorimo na
we can do it
hrvatski?
in Croatian, but, there are a lot of people who don't understand, so.
Just kidding. I can't speak
Well,
Croatian
yeah,
though,
I
so
know. Like my dad actually speaks a bit of Slovenian because he used to live there for a year, and so he's
okay.
his Slovenian is decent, but it's not just he's not on the level of a fluent speaker. So yeah,
Ah, I see.
and also I will say the idea behind doing the interview was, so the page is about to reach 1,000 followers. Why don't we do something? Why don't I do something nice? And I was like, might as well do an interview, and then you're the first person I thought of. So.
I'm honored to be honest. So
Oh,
thank you
I'm
for
glad that
inviting
you're
me.
honored, and it's also really nice to have you here. Now,
Thank you for all the support
then you're welcome.
give the
And
show.
I also watch the show. I don't watch it like regularly, but every time, like, because I'm quite busy all the time, and then I would try to watch it every time I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there
Tell me, where you watch our show on
yes,
Planet TV? Do you
in
get
Germany.
Planet
Yes,
TV
I live in
where
Germany
you
now.
live?
Yes,
You live in Germany, all right.
yep, I
You
have the
can watch
channel
Planet
on
TV
my
in
TV.
Germany.
Hmm.
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that, to be honest. Because I think if you're
Hmm.
Slovenian and if you're abroad, you can't watch our channel on your browser. You
Yeah,
must have a
exactly. Because I
VPN, I
remember,
think.
I think it was before we had like when we first moved here. I think it was like 2019. Can't remember anymore. Like it was 2019,
Uh-huh.
and we first moved here, and then it was still with the old
Yeah.
host. I didn't like him anyway. But yeah,
Ah, the
yeah,
old host
the one
in
who
Slovenia.
hosted like when
Oh,
the reboot first started. Um,
one
yes,
with a mustache.
he was just.
I shaved.
I
I
can tell.
shaved. You know.
And yeah, when we first moved here, I couldn't watch the show because we didn't have the channel on the TV, and then I had to watch it through like the browser with a VPN.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah.
That was basically it. Now it says here in my notes that you're a TV presenter, author, comedian, podcaster, etc., etc. You're a multi-talent.
And a farmer.
Yeah, You're
No, no,
not
no,
Jeremy
just kidding.
Clarkson.
No, 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 not yet, because I would make a bigger mess than he does. I I think I have even less
Oh,
talent
wow.
than him. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of things involving media throughout the years. I began my career as an impersonator, famous people on the radio, on Slovenian radio. There's a show called Radio
Heard of
Gaga.
that.
It's been on since 1991, and I began working there in 2003 when I was 19, and shortly after, in 2005, I moved to television. We did the same show, but on television. We did impersonations. It was like Saturday Night Live. There were sketches and impersonations and guests and musical numbers. And then in 2015, I started doing that show, Tateden, which is a weekly news parody. But
it says that it's
satire.
won 2 awards. It's an award-winning show now in Slovenia, so I can imagine that it's quite successful.
Yeah, it's very big here. Yes, I'm a very, very, very big star in Slovenia.
Wow.
It's a small country. You must understand that. It's a very small country. It's we do everything here on a very, very small scale. So one has to get used to that. And when you watch Millionaire, you see the top award.
100,000.
The most money you can make is 100,000. Yeah, because you know it all depends on the size of the market, I suppose. We don't have millions.
It is what it is.
Toss at people.
At least Slovenia isn't the only country to not have a million. Like there's Croatia. Yes, we have 150,000 euros.
Yes.
But
150.
It is.
It's more.
And then there's also Greece, Slovenia. No, Slovenia obviously. So, but Bulgaria, I think. But what else? Whatever. Doesn't matter.
I was wondering, but I think United States, UK, France, Italy, Germany, Austria are the only countries who have a million euros for the top prize, isn't it?
I think it also depends because it's usually a million in the local currency. So even if it's, for example, if the country now uses the euro, it's still sort of like the euro converted to the old currency that was once in use. So that's why maybe, I don't know, in Croatia, the top prize is 150,000 euros, which is like more than 1,100,000 Croatian kuna. Yeah.
Croatian kuna, yeah. Which is now.
And then I also said, a friend of mine said Portugal and Greece also. Yes, I mentioned Greece, but I didn't mention Portugal. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't even know. I think it doesn't. I wouldn't say it matters much. You know, people complain about it not being a million, but it's not really that important, I'd say.
Yes, I noticed that a lot when we started doing Millionaire, because in Slovenia, Millionaire has been on since. I thought it was 1999, but if you say it was 2000, then it must have been 2000. I used to watch it then, and I remember watching the UK version on satellite television with Chris. I think he was the best. He really set the mark for all future hosts.
Yeah.
He was the first one to do it. You know, he had a relationship with the creators of the show, I'm sure, and I think they kind of created Millionaire together, and I couldn't get enough of him because he was great. And when I started doing Millionaire, I wanted to be as much as I possibly could be like him, because he's really this figure, let's say a father figure, who takes the contestant by the hand and takes them on this trek towards the million, and who never lost the panache for the dramatic and so on. And I never liked hosts who were cocky and who made fun of the contestants, because
Yeah.
they're really stressed out sometimes. Not all of them, but sometimes they're so stressed out. They sit down, they're sweating. We have to stop so that the makeup lady comes and fixes them. You know, it's very stressful for some, and some people are happy with what's the amount you get for 5 correct answers? I think it's 300 in Slovenia. Yes, they say after they won 300, they say, "Oh, thank God, that's it for me." I say, "What do you mean? We just started." No, I came for 300. I'm leaving now. No, don't leave. You know, it's really a problem sometimes.
It's also like, for example, in Croatia, like I think there's a difference between in Croatia, you know, the country is not that big. It's a bit obviously bigger than Slovenia. It's a slightly bigger market, but not as big as like the German one. And then you also, when you get like, you know, Croatians, they love quizzes. Like they're just quizzes. Like when Millionaire first started, it was like a massive, like there was a massive explosion, like not literally, but you know. And when it first started, I think it was 2 years in, I think it actually still holds the record for being the most watched show in the history of Croatian television. Yeah, Millionaire. I think it's about 50% of the population back then. So, and I don't think a single show has ever managed to.
Oh yes, I know. Croatia is very strong. They used to have a great amount of quizzes when I was young. Some were called, I don't remember what they were called, but very smart people, Croatian people.
What's it called?
Very smart.
Yes,
The Chase.
That's still on. 10 years later, it's still on, yes.
It's still on, right. And Millionaire's been on
started in 2002 in Croatia, so it was a few years after the Slovenian version.
And it's still hosted by.
We've never had a different host, and I think someone else hosting the show would be
good.
It would be different, completely different. And it went on from 2002 until 2009, and then we had a 10-year break. There was like. But actually went to 2010.
10-year break.
So we had a 9-year break. It was no Millionaire at all. And then in like 2018, it was announced that they were going to bring the show back. And then it came back in like September 2019. And it's been going ever since. Yeah. And then COVID.
Yeah. And no
exactly. Then we had no audience. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was horrible. When I started doing the show in March 2020, I remember we had we usually do 3 shows per day. We had 2 shooting days. I remember it was Tuesday and Wednesday. And we were supposed to have another shooting day to shoot the first 9 episodes. And the only time I had a full audience before COVID was.
Oh, I remember that.
First 6 shows. That was, and then we had no audience for I think horrible. 2 years. No, it really was horrible, and I do regret we didn't transform the seating places with LED lights or displays like they did in UK and in Germany.
In Germany, when
or am I mistaken?
COVID first started here, we had something similar Croatia had, and then later, like then we had episodes with a studio audience again, but it was like sort of different, like they were sort of distanced from one another, and then we had, I think it was like this, I want to say, was it December 2020? I'm not sure. We had like there was still an audience, but they were made of past contestants from the show and who won, I don't know, from 16,000 to 500,000. And then there was also one guy who I think he was on this like gambler special Germany has, and then you could win 2 million euros instead of 1 million. Yeah.
I've seen that. That's
but insane. It's also quite tricky.
And
that
was it 3 million ones?
I think the first one was last year in January. It was sort of like a tournament thing, but the gambler specials are slightly different. And then the guy came to question 14, which was like 750,000 euros. And he had, I think, 3 of the 4 lifelines. And he used one of them, one of the remaining 3, and he got it wrong.
Yeah. He got it wrong. So how much did he lose? 700,000.
Okay.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, someone just called me right now. And then basically he was invited to do the show again. It was like the 1500th episode, and then he won 155,000, I think. And so yeah, but then I don't know. It's quite, the show is quite different everywhere you go. It's just not. It's not the same everywhere, which I personally quite like.
Yes. But it was really horrible when there was no audience. I remember it's a live action show. There must be joy if there's a contestant who wins a lot of money, and when I say you got it right, and if there's no applause, it's really strange. And if you do it in post-production, that's the most horrible thing you can do.
That's what I think as well. And I think
kills it.
That's what sort of pissed me off about watching, like for example, the Slovenian version, like during COVID, like that's what sort of pissed me off, because I just didn't want. It's not that I didn't enjoy watching it. It was just like, the fact that there was no applause, there was like literally no energy. It was horrible.
Yeah. There was no, and the times of COVID were very nervous times. People were so tense and were to wear masks, and it's an entertainment show.
But thank God that's all behind us now. And then
absolutely.
For
now.
I don't think it'll
for now.
Return. At least not here, but I don't know. And I hope not. I don't know. I really don't. I don't want to remember the times. I really don't. And then I also wanted to ask you a few things, but before we do, there's actually something not a lot of people know, or maybe people who watch the old version of the show would know. You were actually a contestant on a celebrity episode of the show.
That I forgot all about that. That was I think 2008.
Yes.
Because the Slovenia version of Millionaire there was also a break, I think, between 2004 and 2008. And host, his name is Jonas Žnidaršič. Our Slovenian audience will that is. He's in politics now. Thing was he returned to do a second round of shows, but that's also long. I think it was just for one year.
I have to go do something real quick. I'll be right back in like 10 seconds.
Absolutely, no problem. Hi guys, how are you?
Also, someone just said that Slovenia has the finest host of Millionaire there is. I will agree. You're in my top 5.
What?
I will agree.
That is too kind. Thank you very much. That is too kind. Thank you.
I don't know. You're actually like, I watch so many versions, but I think there's just so few hosts that do the job so well. I mean, obviously everyone does the job in their own way, but there are just so few hosts whose work I love.
So kind. Thank you very much. That is also, really good to hear.
I mentioned you being a contestant. I also have a picture of the...
Yes, I look stunned. I look stunned to be on Millionaire. I do look. I didn't make it. I didn't make it past the fastest finger.
I think that's the worst part of the show. Honestly, getting the fastest finger first is just the worst.
It is. You'd be surprised how many times we do repeats of the fastest finger. But yes, it happens 3 or 4 times in a row.
Oh wow!
Nobody gets it.
That's something I didn't know.
Sometimes we leave it in, and sometimes
I didn't know that because I remember once it happened in like Austria, there were like there were like I think 3 fails in a row. Yeah. And the thing is, there were only 2 contestants left, so there were 4 contestants on the show, and two were already on. There was just the 2 of them, and they got it wrong 3 times in a row. I think the host, Astinga, I think he freaked out by then, and then the klaxon sounded, and then the show ended.
And I must mention this. I watched Millionaire on German television. That was 2 weeks ago, and everybody got it wrong. The fastest finger, and Günther Jauch said, "Let's do an easier question now."
I know.
That was too funny.
I think he's one of a kind. I think there's definitely he's actually been doing the show for the longest.
Yes, I think
it was
since 1998.
September 1999. It was the September 6th, I think.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And he's been doing the show for the longest, so like I think almost 25 years without any breaks.
Since I've been hosting the show, I'm obviously no longer a viewer of my own show. I do watch the UK version or the German. And I would like to ask you, is it still...
No.
Do you Google the correct answers? No, you... Right. So the quiz has retained its romantic character of being born in a time where there was no internet.
I think, like we have Google, we have everything, and we can just get access to so many information within seconds. So I think that's, it's not really fun. Like, just don't watch it anyway, if you know what I mean. And then I don't even know. But I just enjoy, sitting down on the couch, watching the show without Googling anything. It's just, that's basically that's what the show's about.
Used to be different, in the end of the 90s. Watch the show, and it's set when you say final answer. We have to cut to commercial break.
That's like
yes. Nowadays you can take your phone and you can Google whatever the question is, but in those days you had to wait.
It's just, and also the commercial break. So when you're on set, when you're recording the show, I assume the commercial breaks like last 5 seconds, and then that's it. Yeah, it's just
There is no commercial break. Yes, just stop and commercial break.
It's pretty much it's pretty much the same in Germany, because I was on set a few months ago, and we basically and also seeing Günther Jauch in person was like crazy, and it's just basically when you go to an ad break that lasts like 10-20 seconds at max, then they're shooting again.
I was in talks for a long time. I wanted to get a massage during the commercial. They said no.
That would have been fun. Also, I forgot to put my mug here, the one you sent me. I have it in my cupboard over there, but I didn't put it here. But I still have it.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
exactly.
It
took ages to reach you, didn't it?
It lasted like I think it was like a month before it got here. Yeah, it was actually quite crazy, because I was like worried, like where is it? Like I was actually quite worried. But then when the package came out, my dad called me and he was like, "Oh, there's a package for you." Like,
must have been it.
Yeah,
glad it didn't get lost.
Too. And thank you so much once again for sending the mug. And also I wanted to talk about something else. Like there's actually quite questions. Like you remember I put it's like questionnaire, then like people can submit their own questions if they wanted to ask you. And also some friends of mine also sent me a few questions. Now this is like, I'm gonna start with the most interesting one. So the Ask the Host lifeline. How stressful is it?
Yeah. It's not stressful because, in Slovenia, the contestants who compete, they know me. They know what I know, and very rarely do I get asked something I don't know. You know, people know I have absolutely no idea about football, about soccer, about sports in general. I only ever get asked what they know that I know. So people think he knows everything. He must be cheating. He must be. I'm not, because they know I know a lot about music, a lot about books, some movies or TV shows. That's what I get asked, and
yeah,
it's
that's
not
what
stressful.
that's what I thought, because when I watch Millionaire, when I watch your version, I feel like you're like, you know, like basically, as you already said, so that could be the reason. Like, you know, every single question you get asked. That's, I think that's what the reason is, because like, I don't know, there have been so many situations like other countries where I've just seen you as the host. They're like, oh, I don't know, don't ask me. Like, even Jeremy Clarkson, I think he's made quite a few. Like, he also made this mistake once where he was sure that he knew the answer, and then the contestant went for it, and it was wrong.
Yeah. Does happen. It does happen. But I'm very glad people know me who come to the show. So I get.
And I'm also quite, and also there's like this small statistic, like, you know, with all the different hosts who, you know, where there's asked the host and then their accuracy, and I'm pretty sure
the Italian host, he asked the host. They have that in Italy as well.
Italy, UK. I don't know where else, but I can't even remember it anymore. And I think you're at the top, because I think that also could be the reason why, because you just mentioned. But yeah, I think every host, I think every person has their own, like, you know, weak and strong subjects. But yeah, I think that's also one good thing. And then there's also, let me have a look. Oh yeah, when you answered this question already, so basically when you got the offer to host the show, how did you prepare for the task?
It's a bit complicated. I didn't. It was like that when the show was set for a comeback in 19, I think.
Okay.
There was an audition, and I was called to do the audition, and I did the audition, and then I was waiting for the phone call, obviously, if I made it or not. And the phone call came, and they said, you didn't get it by an inch. Yeah, you lost by an inch to Mr. Slavko Bobonik, who was the host for 1 year in 2019. And I said, oh, damn. And then I was disillusioned, because I was really a fan of the show since I was a little kid. And then in 1 year, I got another phone call saying, hello, would you like to do the Millionaire show? And I said, no, I'm kidding. I said, yes, I would very much like to do it. So yeah, how did I prepare? Well, it's quite different from watching the show than hosting the show. I was that's a lesson I learned very quickly, because the first few shows or the rehearsals we did, it was kind of stressful. And the first thing you have to get used to it if you host the show is that all the moments when the camera cuts to the total shots or the audience shots or any shot that isn't you, that's the time you have to wait. And when you watch the show, everything goes very quickly, very smoothly, and that's how I used to host the show at the very beginning. And then I had a talk with the director, and he said, take it easy. Slow, man. Slow. Calm down. And then it's a tempo you learn with time. So I didn't prepare quite a lot, but it took me a month or two to get the sense of tempo.
That's the interesting part. And, you know, I think it's genuinely hard, because you sort of have to, like, you know, you have to be careful. You don't want to give anything away. because
Yeah.
that's also a bit unwanted.
Yes. When you say,
Mm-hmm.
you are correct,
Yeah.
and that there's the jingle,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a shot of the audience. You have to wait, and then camera back on you, then you continue.
Yeah, I know
You'd
what
like
you
to
mean.
continue all the
But
time.
and I think it's just the show is just. I can imagine that doing the show is just as fun as watching it at home.
Absolutely, it's a great deal of fun. But the only thing I would
Mm-hmm.
say is we do 3 shows per shooting day, and by the end of the third,
I know what you mean.
you're
I know
dead.
what you mean.
You are
I know what
literally
you mean
dead.
because like I've been to the German/Austrian set a few times by now because I think I go there like every time. I think I go there like every month now, or every month and a half. And I get to see the Austrian host. I think I get to see him quite often. And
Yes.
you can just tell. I think,
Yeah.
and also when you're in the audience as well. I think when it's like the third, when it's like the first episode, and then the audience is just excited and everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. But for the audience at
Mm-hmm.
home who watch Millionaire at home, they don't care if it's your 3rd show, your 6th show, your 9th show. They want to have fun, and they don't understand
Mm-hmm.
why is he so tired. We just
Exactly.
only began. No, it's my 3rd show, so it's something you have to do with.
Yeah.
You have to be professional. So, and our audience gets
Yeah, I
very
can
tired by
imagine.
the 3rd show. By the 3rd, the
Yeah, I could just
the
tell the way
applause
the
is
energy dies down. It
they
just
get
goes on to this.
yeah, correct. You've won 100
Yeah,
euros.
exactly. I know what you mean. And then also I think there was this one
Yeah,
moment. I think it was also a taping of the Austrian version, and
right.
because like during like in between the tapings, the people because it's like the process of shooting is like completely different. Well, in essence, it's the same, but it's just when it comes to certain things like the audience. Like there's a whole procedure. Like we have a ticketing team, and you get a ticket, and then I think I have a staple of tickets somewhere. Like they're all
Oh,
from the Million Show or Wer wird Millionär, and it's quite
yeah,
different. And then when it's the Million Show, and then it's like they have 2 appointments, and then like you have one double shooting, and then you have
right.
another one which is just one show. And I know like when you like in between the breaks, like the people from ticketing would come in, and then they would just like say, "Oh, you sat
Yeah.
here, now you get to sit here," whatever. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, because you
Same
don't
as
want the audience to
for
you
sure.
don't want it to look the same on TV, just
Yeah, it's the same
exactly. And
audience
then
but
one time,
scrambled.
I got to sit behind Amin, and I think there was just one part where I
Yes.
had to yawn. It was so bad, and you're trying not to yawn. You have no idea. Like you just try, you're just like it's horrible because other people get to see that on
Yeah.
TV as well. You're trying it, but it's not working.
Oh yeah.
And then I basically gave up, and then I yawned. And then when I watched the episode on TV, I looked, and the part wasn't there. Like they showed a different. I think they showed a contestant during that part, or they cut away to a different camera. I have no idea. But the worst part is, like when I yawned, the camera was on the host, and then you could see me right in the back, and it was just so embarrassing.
Look at that man, the fun he's
And
having.
then
Look.
it's crazy. I mean, and you don't want to embarrass yourself. Thank God they cut that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, but yeah. It's also really fun, when you see how things work on set and everything. It's really fun. I don't know what it's like over there. I mean, I will know sometime soon, probably, because I still plan on coming.
It is. It is fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was less fun during COVID, but now it's fun again. It's fun again. We have a full audience. I think we have
Mm-hmm.
a bigger audience than we used to have when
Mm-hmm.
it was full in 2020. Full audience, I think, is about
Croatia, I
80
think it's
people
like
now.
100, something a bit smaller, something around that number. Mm-hmm.
100, yeah. But of course, nowhere
So yeah,
near the
I think we have
German studio, where it's like
about
300.
and I think, yeah, 250 people. Yeah.
250.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
that is a
And like,
lot.
I know when an episode of the German version is being taped, like the studio is full.
Yeah.
Like there are 4 blocks. You have block A, block B, and then you have the block C and D, which are behind. You don't get to see them on camera. And
Oh, right.
you have no idea. It's basically full, and you have to wait like 4 or 5 years for tickets. It is.
I
It
don't
says you
believe
have
that.
to wait 4 or 5
My
years for tickets.
hell.
It's quite crazy. And
So it's a privilege.
exactly.
To see
And
the
then
tape of
if
the
you
show.
go,
There's no privilege. So if you come to Slovenia, you'll get in anytime.
and I think like when it's the Austrian version, like there's less people, and obviously it's quite easier to get tickets for that, compared to Wer wird Millionär. But yeah, it's
Yep.
fun nevertheless. And then what else? There are quite a few questions, so I'm gonna find the best ones.
Run in 5 minutes.
Oh yeah,
I have to
your
shoot
show?
in at.
Okay, then
Yeah, I have 5
we'll
minutes
do
more.
2 more questions, and then we're gonna wrap up. So
Sure.
one question was, how long do you plan on doing the show for?
Till
I
I
hope
retire.
I hope it stays that way.
Hopefully.
And then, if there's also one more thing, if you could change one thing about the show, what would it be and why?
I already changed one thing. I think if anyone is going to know this, then it's going to be you. You said you have watched the show with the previous host in
and then
2019.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna let you finish.
Do you remember
Yep.
the music
It was
they used?
the more modern one, the rave one.
It's horrible. That was the first thing I changed. I said, I want to do the original soundtrack, which is perfect, and which is still used in UK. Original. It's the first 5 questions. Music which is played during the first 5 questions. It's just brilliant. It's brilliant. It's a take on quiz show music. Of many quiz shows, it's so smartly composed. I really like it, and the new theme they did was just a beat, and there isn't disco. No, electronic. I hated it. I want to have the old soundtrack back. Will you agree with me on this one?
I like both. Yeah,
You like both?
Like both, because there was a period in time where I didn't like the rave music at all, but as time went by, I got used to it and I started liking it even more. So it is what it is. Also, someone asked an interesting question: have you met any of the international hosts of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You haven't.
I have not.
That's interesting.
No. Let me think. No.
Oh damn!
I
actually thought you'd. I thought you had met at least one. Probably like.
No. Haven't even met Tarek Filipovic.
Well, that should be changed then, I suppose.
No, I haven't. No. Interesting.
And also, I wanted to say something.
It's
also unrelated to the show. You actually studied in Salzburg, in Austria. That I read.
Yes.
I read your page on Wikipedia, and I found it quite interesting, actually.
I was studying musical composition. As it were.
I think that's what I found quite interesting, and I think I also wanted to mention that. And you were also in America, in Los Angeles. You performed at the Improv.
Yes.
Oh, you've done so many things. It's crazy.
But I found that wasn't for me. Stand up wasn't. I'm not quite good at that. I think I'm good at what I do now. So
Yeah,
I think I'll continue my career.
I think you do a very good job. Yeah.
Very kind.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I guess that's it. I mean, we went on for 40 minutes. I think that's quite nice.
That's good. Now I have to change to do the show.
So the show is going to be on, your news show is going to be on tonight, right? At 9 p.m.
Yeah, my weekly late night show is on tonight, and
Yes.
Millionaire starts
Is there
on
any
Friday.
reason to that? Because I know it's on, usually it's on Saturdays.
It's daylight saving time. That changes to
Yeah,
that.
that makes sense. But yeah, that's because I know it was like Monday, Tuesday at one point, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then now it was Saturday, and then now Friday.
Yeah, it does get
Crazy.
changed a lot.
But I blame the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it is.
It's their
Well,
fault.
I guess that's it. Thank you so much for doing the interview. And
Thank you for
you're
inviting me.
welcome. And also,
really
I know
enjoyed
you
it.
have quite a busy schedule, and then you still found time to do it. Thank you
Absolutely.
very much.
Love to.
I
Keep
will.
up the good
Thank
work.
you. Right. You too.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
And
Bye
thank
bye,
you
everyone.
everyone for watching. I'll see you sometime soon. Bye bye.